Hi everybody, I just wanted to share a zip bag concept with you today. It's a bag that's made with a circle of fabric and zips up and forms a little half moon bag. And when this bag is completely unzipped, you have a little platform to work on, and all of your contents are laid out right here for you to see and easily get at with one hand. So this bag was inspired by these bags that I use for fire starter kits or first aid, and I have them in my backpack. And one of the problems I experience with this bag is if I'm going to get into it, say I want a certain item in the bag, I have to dig through the other stuff, and I better have two hands available to do it too, because I got to dig down in there and I got to hold the bag open and find what I want. Or I better not be anywhere that it's a problem to just dump the whole bag out, because sometimes it's just easier to dump the whole bag out. But if the ground's wet or the wind's blowing or I'm on a hillside, now my stuff is blowing around, and now when I go to put the stuff back in my bag, I've made extra work for myself, because I got to gather all the stuff up, hold the bag open, put it back in the bag. I did this once with a fire starting kit in the dark, and I had pulled some of my stuff out to get to something that was at the bottom, and it was very annoying because the wind was blowing, it was a little dark out, and it just makes it less convenient and makes more work to get at one little item in the bag. So I came up with this idea of a bag. It uses just about the same amount of fabric, and with this, when I open this bag up, I got everything laid out right here. And I can just kind of scoot it around and select what I want. Okay, I want this. And then everything else can stay in there, and it's manageable. I can move it around. If it's raining or something like that, I can actually take the bag and zip it up a little bit to keep the rain from hitting my stuff that I don't want to get wet, and I can still reach in here with my hand and get the stuff out that I want. And like if something's going on where my hand's bleeding and I just have one hand to work with, this works great because I can do everything with one hand, and I can also pick this up and move it around. So if something's going on and I need to move, I can just quickly take all my stuff and move it around. Whereas if I had this bag and I had a bunch of the stuff dumped out and I needed to move somewhere else, I would have to pick up all my stuff. So this just makes it a lot easier and a lot more friendly if you only have one hand to use, or if you're in any kind of situation where it's low light or it's cold or it's windy. You got all your stuff right here. The way the bag is made, it's just a circle of fabric with a single piece of zipper stitched down to it, and then a little bit of zipper insertion trickery right here. And so it has kind of like a little bathtub chassis. The ends of it fold up a little bit and tend to keep the stuff from sliding away. And it really lets you be able to, if you need to, grab the whole bag like this and pick it up and carry it around without sitting there and reorganizing everything. And as a side benefit, you don't have to have a lot of seam sealing, because this is one circle of fabric. And like when you make a square bag, you have the Dyneema. Like if you're making this bag out of Dyneema, you create a weak point here and here where you have to seam seal it, otherwise you'll get water. And as you guys probably know, with the Dyneema fabric, if you stitch it and don't seam seal it, it creates a little tear here spot, and it'll tear. So with this, the only place that you end up needing to worry about water entry, since there's no other stitching on the body of the bag, is where the zipper goes. So something that's neat about these waterproof zippers, they have the urethane coating. So here's one close up. It has a urethane coating on it, and the stitching presses the Dyneema fabric against the urethane coating and has a gasket effect. So you can construct this bag without full-on seam sealing and still have a very water resistant bag, because you have a soft urethane that has the Dyneema pressed up against it. So you would have to have a pretty good amount of water pressure to actually push through at this point. So anyways, that's it. It's just a different way to make a bag that I think is going to be a lot more useful for a lot of the stuff that I use the bags for. Thanks.